Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So much to talk about. But before we get to that, make sure you leave that donation for that fried rice, chicken wings, teriyaki chicken, and some salad. Look, man, Rolanda. How about that? Let me make the correction live so you guys can see. That's what happens when you type in too damn fast. Rolando Superman Romero. I'm not even going to edit it. I'm just going to do it live and direct so y'all can see how the magic works. It should change on your screen right now. There we go. Rolando Superman Romero. Man, is Rolly ever going to perform to the expectation of Mayweather? I like Rolly. But I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan Garcia is going to knock him out cold. Okay? So, anybody out here who thinks that Rolly Romero is going to get in here, 16 wins, 2 losses, and 13 KOs, and his this amazing punching power is just going to show up. He's going to clip Ryan Garcia. I got to tell you, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. I got to be real. I seen this sparring footage from years ago. I've seen it. Rolly did look like he was beating the shit out of Ryan Garcia. But I just think at this day and time, Rolly Romero doesn't have anything left. I think Tank Davis took a pound of flesh out of him. I think Ismael Barroso took a pound of flesh out of him. And I think Pitbull Cruz took a pound of flesh out of him. So that's 3 pounds of flesh taken out of Rolly Romero's chin and face. So that means you can get really close to the bone. And when Ryan Garcia lands that big trademark left hook, Rolly Romero is going to be finished. I think his career will be done. And he'll be a guy who came into the sport late, made a few million, became a champion, and he deserves to be lauded because it really, guys like him and Regis Prograis weren't supposed to accomplish what they accomplished. But anyway, Teofimo Lopez is, who no one really seems to fancy at this moment. Look, he's trying to tell Ryan Garcia to worry about Rolly Romero's power. Now, I'll say this. Rolly does have power. But what the real concern should be is Rolly's chin. Because although they think Rolly's a threat, and people think that Ryan Garcia could lose to him because Ryan Garcia, they're not sure where he's at mentally. He's focused on a Devin Haney rematch. He's coming off of some inactivity. Look, I get it, and that's a fair conversation. But I don't think if Ryan Garcia is out the ring for 3 years and Rolly Romero's active, I think Ryan Garcia can come back off the street after 3 years of inactivity and knock out Rolly Romero, okay? And I'm not downplaying Rolly Romero. I'm not saying Ryan Garcia is that great of a fighter. I just said the speed, the power that Ryan has, and the fact that the punch resistance, in my opinion, isn't quite there for Rolly. I just think 10 times out of 10, Ryan Garcia, he doesn't just beat him, he violently knocks him out. But if Ryan loses to him, well, that messes up a whole lot of plans because we all know the whole world, the boxing world, is looking forward to Ryan and Devin getting it on. They even got, Turkey a la Sheik. We know when Turkey's in the house, every day is Thanksgiving. He got him out here putting up some big money to get the rematch popping. It's supposed to take place later this year. I think it's going to be like September or October. But nonetheless, I think that Rolly and Ryan Garcia is a good fight. I just can't buy into the storyline that Rolly is some Superman that's going to come out here now at 147 and be able to do something he really wasn't able to do at 140 pounds, okay? It's one thing if he showed up at 140 and dominated and did the business. That's not really what happened. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the matchmaking. They took Rolly, whose last fight was against Pitbull, right, who got knocked out. They took Ryan, who damn near killed Devin Haney, but then had the Osterine scandal and some inactivity. And to put them together, they're not putting them together for Rolly to use Ryan as a springboard to something bigger and better. This is just a stay busy fight for Ryan to clip Rolly, and then Ryan to safely get to the Devin Haney rematch. Okay, so for me, I got Ryan. I just think Rolly. If Rolly was with Bullet, I would give Rolly a chance. I ain't gonna lie, but when these fighters leave their trainers that help turn them into a force to be reckoned with and become champions, and then now they go and they change their style, like Rolly being with Salas. That is a horrible combination. And I don't know if Salas is Cuban or what, but I know he trains a lot of Cuban fighters. But Rolly will never ever be Erislan De Lara, Andy Cruz. He'll never be David Morrell, Rigondeaux. Okay? He will never be Casamayor. He's not that kind of fighter. That's why Rolly is out here looking crazy, because he's trying to catch and shoot and counter punch. And hey, good to practice those things in sparring, but in a real scenario, when you're in the ring, that's not the place to be out there just trying to see what works. Not when you have had a guy like Pitbull in there and you got a beast like Ryan who's coming. So some people could say they think Ryan has to be careful with what Rolly is bringing to the ring. I think it's the opposite. Okay, I like Rolly. He's entertaining. He can hit hard. He's gonna fight to the death. But I'm just not worried about any shots coming from him. But at the same time, if he landed, yeah, he could hurt anybody. So the best fighter doesn't always win. It's the fighter who boxes the best of that night. And if you ask me, I'm like heavily leaning towards Ryan Garcia. Okay, very simple. But that being said, there's so much going on in boxing. You got guys like Teofimo Lopez, who's going to be fighting in Alcatraz, trying to get a fight in the Alcatraz prison. You know, Turkey al-Sheikh is behind all that. But the real thing to be talking about is when you look at Abdullah Mason and where Abdullah Mason is at right now. The guy he fought this past weekend, let me tell you, Manuel Jaimes, 16-3-1. He's a tough fighter. He's not on Abdullah Mason's level, but he's the kind of guy who could have given Abdullah Mason trouble if Abdullah Mason hadn't gone back into the lab and work on his deficiencies. I like everything I saw from Abdullah Mason, and I'm going to tell you, Abdullah Mason is strong. I think he's right-handed. I know he fights southpaw, but I really think he's right-handed because the kind of power he can generate with that right hand, it's not normal. The left hand is strong too. It's that right hand. I think he's an orthodox fighter converted southpaw. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I haven't paid attention to him riding and doing different things to see if he's right-hand dominant. But the way he hit that guy Jaime with that double right hand, I think it was like an uppercut, like a double hook uppercut, whatever. That shit was maximum violence. But now you got to take a look and be real. Abdullah Mason has 17 wins, 15 knockouts. So it's time for him to really step up and take on a formidable opponent, like someone who's really going to push him to see if he's the real deal. But, hey, he wants Lomachenko. He wants Davis, Gervonta Davis. He wants Keyshawn Davis. He wants Shakir Stevenson. He even said, I ain't trying to shake hands and be cool with nobody. You know, he's really coming out here. He'll fight anyone. The only people he's not fighting are his brothers. So we're going to see if he can get a Stevenson in the ring, a Keyshawn Davis in the ring. I think there's 0% chance of him getting in there because Top Rank is going to be very careful with how they're moving their fighters. But I do think Lomachenko may drop that IBF belt, and then what's his name? Abdullah Mason could end up fighting for the vacant belt. That's what I think could happen. Because if you look at Top Rank, they got Keyshawn, they got Murataya, and they got Abdullah Mason. They're not trying to have those three guys fighting some kind of round robin and destroy each other. Nah, they're gonna preserve those guys and let those fights get real juicy. and have an in-house fight. But it'll be so much better if their guys all have titles, and then they sit there, man. They can kind of control the narrative. But nonetheless, Abdullah Mason wants a title fight this year. Will he get it? I don't know. I think he has to be a bit realistic in his aspirations. But I'll tell you what, when the time comes, I think Abdullah Mason is going to be a problem for any of those guys at 135. Now, speaking of people who are problems, not in a good way, but Jared Big Baby Anderson, horrible. He needs to quit boxing. And I don't believe in breaking champions down. I believe in building them. But Jared Anderson, man, he's just not it. This guy fought a guy named Marios Calais, and Anderson was in there arguing with his corner. They're telling him what to do, giving him very sound instructions, and he's sitting there telling him what he doesn't want to do, punches he doesn't like. He doesn't want to punch elbows. He doesn't want to this. He just looked like a guy. He almost looked like the way people describe how Deontay Wilder is in training. Uncoachable, talks back, doesn't listen. I've never seen Deontay Wilder show that in a professional fight. But in training, they say that's how he is. Jared Anderson showed that shit in a professional fight. And I'll tell you what, when you have a fighter who won't listen to his corner, you got a problem. You have a problem. So what can he do going forward? Look, I don't know. He has an aggressive style. He's very offensive. But he gets in there with someone who's a quality opponent, and he starts getting nailed again. I think Jared Anderson, if he doesn't quit, he's probably going to bite the opponent and get disqualified. He's going to do something to eliminate himself from the matchup. I really believe that, man. But anyway, Jared Anderson, I'm telling y'all right now, mentally that he's not there. I don't think he's there. I think he's checked out. I think he has mental health issues. And at the same time, I'm glad he took that Bacoli fight because he made a few $1 million on top of the money he's already made. So he's set the rest of his life as long as he can be financially responsible. But huge fight week, man. February 22nd, Berdabia, Bivol, Dubois, Parker, Stevenson, Schofield, Ortiz Jr., Madrimov, Jane Caballel, Adam Shiraz, Boatsy Smith. Let me tell y'all something. These fights, that Berdabia, Bivol, expect someone to die in that fight. Bivol is saying, and I believe it, that he's going to punch more, throw more punches. He's going to box the fighter, and then when Berdabiev is trying to box, he's going to fight the boxer. The fact that he wants to throw more punches tells me that he's going to be fighting more than boxing. And we know Berdabiev comes to fight. So we're going to get an explosion in the ring when those two scrap. I got Berdabiev winning that fight, but I think he wins by knockout. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bivol won. But Bivol, this is a 50-50 fight. But if you tell me to pick one way or the other, I'm going with Berdabiev. But that damn Bivol, I would not be surprised if he beat Berdabiev. I wouldn't. Knocking him out, I don't know about that. But if he put the beans on him from the first round to the last, because Bivol can do it. Anyway, absolutely fantastic fight. I think that shit's going to be fight of the year. You got Dubois and you got Parker. I'm just not convinced Parker can do the business against Daniel Dubois. I just don't think so. Dubois got the momentum going. He's got the confidence. He's not as timid as he was before. And he's even used profanity in interviews. He's never done that. I just think Parker can say he's aged like fine wine. He was inexperienced. He has more experience now. When he fought Andy Ruiz, when he fought AJ, when he fought Dillian White, he wasn't the guy he is now. And for that reason, he's going to get in there with Dubois, and Dubois is going to face something he's never seen before, and Parker expects to not just outbox him, but to possibly knock him out. To that I say in the most respectful way to Joseph Parker and his fans, to hold their horses and not take it to the stupid. Joseph Parker is an amazing athlete, But there's something special about Dubois. I don't know if y'all seen that movie before, The Last Dragon, where they had Show Enough and Bruce Leroy. And Bruce Leroy was in there with Show Enough, and then he caught the glow and shit. Danny Dubois got the glow. He's Bruce Leroy. And I just think when Joseph Parker gets in there, if he hits and hurts Danny Dubois is going to start glowing, and all hell's going to break loose. Stevenson Schofield, man, the more I think about this fight, the more I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Schofield is going to fight to win, but I just think Shakir is super locked in. Time and speed. A lot of the naysayers are doubting him to really go on to do anything great. Twitterson, Chicken Stevenson, I call him a boxer runner. But I think he's going to put on the showcase when he gets into a Schofield and just show that, he's levels above just about any fighter at 135 outside of Tank. And I expect Schofield to really do his best. But if he loses against Shakir, that's still a win because he makes the most money he's ever made in his career. And he lost against arguably a future pound-for-pound great. So, not bad. Adamis against Shiraz. Shiraz is speaking with a lot of respect. People think, that means he's scared of Adamis. No, that's the calm before the storm. Adamis is a great fighter. He's powerful. He's strong. I got Shiraz knocking Adamis out. Y'all better pay attention to these fighters who came in there underestimating Shiraz and put some respect on Shiraz's name. Shiraz is tall, lanky, powerful, and he can box. And he uses his eyes. When he's fighting, he's watching you. I think Adamis is going to get countered and get hurt badly. I give it 3 rounds, Adamis gets knocked out. Ortiz Jr. Madrimov, I'm rooting for Ortiz. I think Madrimov tranquilizes him, but I'm rooting for Ortiz because Ortiz has pushed through 2 episodes with rhabdomyolysis. I don't think he's the same fighter he was at 147. At 147, I said I thought Ortiz would beat Terrence Crawford. Some people thought I was crazy. But what he did to Madrimov, the way he did it, is what made me say, holy shit, Ortiz is a machine. At 154, I just haven't seen that. When he fought Bohachuk, I thought Bohachuk decisively beat him. Other people didn't. Some people didn't see it, but the majority felt Ortiz lost that fight. I mean, not just because of the 2 knockdowns, he was losing rounds. But that being said, when he faces Madrimov, I am rooting for Ortiz. I want Ortiz to win. I just don't think he can. I think Madrimov will be too strong, too powerful, and you're going to see Ortiz get knocked out. He's not going to quit. That's not in his DNA, but he's going to get knocked out. The referee's going to stop the fight. And everybody's going to be saying, what happened to Ortiz? I'm telling you, those first 2 fights at 154, those shits were flukes. 1 round each. 2 fights at 154, 2 total rounds. Then he goes and fights Bohachuk. And he got knocked down twice in that fight. And to me, he lost most of those rounds. But he got the victory. We all know that was bullshit. Now you're going to fight Madrimov? Let's just wait and see what plays out. But I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I told you so. Zhang against Caballero. Look, I want Zhang to win. I think Zhang can knock him out. But I'm telling you right now, Caballero can box and he's a dirty fighter. He's a fucking pig. So those of you in the comments who are like, you just don't like Caballero. No, I don't like Caballero. He's a filthy fucking fighter. Can he box? Yeah. And look, I know boxing's not a tickling contest. You're supposed to try to hurt each other. But he's a stinking pig. Those elbows, he headbutts, he wraps your arm up, hits behind the head. He's a fucking pig. He mauls you. But this is boxing. They're not in there to fucking tongue kiss and coochie coo. They're in there to try to hurt you, to knock your ass out, possibly kill you, put the most pain on you to where you don't want to fight no more. So Caballero, good job for doing what you have to do to get wins, but just know I see what you're doing. You're a fucking pig. I hope Zhang knocks him out cold and Caballero never returns back to the ring. I don't want him to get hurt. I just want him to get knocked the fuck out. I'm rooting for Zhang because when Zhang's in the house, every day is a goddamn pork fried rice. Boatsi and Smith, hey man, good fight. I don't care to see it. And anyone like, oh, you don't like Boatsi, you don't like Smith. No, it's not that. I just have no interest in watching them fight. Smith is past his prime. Boatsi, I'm not really interested in him, you know? I'm just being real with you. But all the other fights, they're all bangers. Barty Smith is a scrapper too, because Smith is going to fight, and so will Barty. But these other fights, that Zhang, that Ortiz, Shiraz, Stevenson, Dubois, Bivol, this fight card is crazy. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Got some more stuff coming for y'all tomorrow, man. But I had to get this video out and just kind of give a recap on a whole lot. And I already talked about Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis gets better with every fight, but he's not beating Gervonta. Y'all need to stop being so damn biased and be real about it. He will not beat Gervonta Davis. Nobody at 135 beats Gervonta Davis. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Yo, I'm in the breeze.